Okay, let's get to it. This is not my story, author will be in the description. Izuku knew it was dangerous to stay late on the streets. He was 12 now, which meant he wasn't stupid. His teachers were very keen in telling him that. They even moved him up a grade because of his smarts. And he loved to learn. He did. There was a thirst for knowledge within him that no one knew how to explain. Katsuki always joked he had a second quirk for being smart. Don't take away my accomplishments, Kaken. You are just jealous you are stuck in your grade, he always answered. It usually earned him a few hours of Katsuki ranting, how no, I'm not jealous, shut the fuck up nerd. You don't know anything, at least I have friends besides you, he does, but Izuku rather call them lackeys instead of friends. Seriously, they just agreed with everything Kaken said or did. That couldn't be healthy. And well, Midoriya wasn't the most popular. Being a grade above and having a quirk that made him behave like an animal did that to you. But it was fine. Because he had learned through the years that he didn't need anyone besides his human heater anyways. Who even needs friends? What even are friends? Besides, if he had any more than he currently does, he wouldn't be able to spend his days flying around as a pigeon. Honestly, being a pigeon was fun. They were always plotting something, and Izuku more than once joined in their schemes to take over the world. He knew what he was doing was technically illegal quirk use, but oh well, it's only illegal if he gets caught. He joined a pigeon gang. Their current target was a pigeon teen human with red wings that was trying to claim their territory. They'd have none of that. The sky were theirs, Mr. Pigeon Dude. Pruu shoo, go away. They all chanted. Wait, I got sidetracked. Back to his nights. He liked to be a cat during the nights. Why, you might ask? Because he once walked in a cat assembly. They were all singing. Yes, singing about jellicle cats. He wanted to be a jellicle cat even though he had no idea what that meant. So during nights he snuck out to be one. Usually it was uneventful, but sometimes the siblings would show up and they always took him to the best adventures. After a year of showing up to these assemblies, he earned a jellicle name, Skimblinadots. It was low-key his proudest moment in life. Which did say a lot about his life and personality, but he'd rather not dwell on that. This night, however, he was strutting over where they would meet, when he noticed a man, all dressed in black, leaving food for them in their spot. He wouldn't take the food, he had it at home. Besides, Big Tanto Brutus had already claimed it. He ate and didn't die. Therefore, man dressed in black equals good person. He saw and Mercury get near the man and sniffed him. He did the same, which earned them both head pats. Ah damn, if the man kidnapped him right now with the promise of head pats forever, he would absolutely not care. His self-proclaimed mom, aka Ms. Gumblebum, showed up and hissed at the nice man. He strutted over Bum and she gave him head licks. Ah, heaven. And Mercury copied him. How dare she? But Bum would not tolerate any fighting whatsoever. The man laughed at them, and next up he was talking Zashi would kill me. But Kami, I want to take you all. Who was this Zashi? Why would he kill the good man? So many questions. Well, it looked like there wouldn't be any meeting tonight, so he went back home. He made sure no one was around to see him changing into a bird and flew away. It was faster to fly than to walk. Dash. Izuku Midoriya, where were you at 3 a.m? His mom said upon noticing he was back home. He cursed himself internally. She used his full name. He was in trouble. Oh wow, he couldn't even think of an excuse. But in his defense, he was still in cat mode. Fun fact, the more time he spent in a certain form, the more the antics of such a form passed to his human one. I don't want excuses. I want you promising me this was a one-time thing. Well, that would be hard since it wasn't. She shook her head. She wasn't angry. She was disappointed. That was honestly so much worse. Do you want to be robbed? To get kidnapped? We don't live in a safe area, hun. I'm just worried about your safety. I know. He hugged her, snuggling against her chest, taking in her scent. She smelled like home. It was warm, but not as warm as Katsuki. I'm sorry, but I'm never out as a human, and who would think of kidnapping a cat anyway? He strategically forgot about how he'd let himself get kidnapped for pats. A lot of people would take you thinking you were a stray to help you, or to a kennel to take you off the streets. I worry, hun. Please don't go out at night anymore. I can't promise you that. I'm a part of this important organization that requires my attention at night. She raised her eyebrow, distrusting. Say what now? I can't explain further. It's a secret organization. Of cats. Don't worry. Nothing to worry about or see. She sighed. You take too much after your father after all. He let go of her. It was rare for her to talk about his dad. He had one or two memories about the man, so he'd take the chance to know more really. What was he like? Kind. A crybaby. A villain. You know. Now go to bed. I'm sure you are tired. I know I am. He nodded and walked away. Wait. Did she say villain? Dash. Today was one of those rare days Izuku didn't spend part of his day as a pigeon. That was because Katsuki wanted them to join a dojo. It was smart, and it showed Katsuki was still strong about his dream of being a hero. Izuku wasn't so adamant on being one anymore, but he also didn't know what else he could be that would allow him to use his quirk without the possibility of getting arrested, so he'd follow his Hita's footsteps. Ms. Ratasu reminded him of Ms. Gumblebum. They both had white fur, well in case of Ms. Ratasu hair, and they both looked at anyone younger as if they were their kids. Katsuki did all the talking while Izuku got distracted with this cool light. It was lightsaber shaped. So cool. After they were done talking, Kaken called him over. They were doing a test drive. It was mostly so she could access their levels, but still, she made them do drills. They had to run 10 laps around the thing. It became a race. Izuku won. He was used to running to get to places, and no quirks were allowed, but even as a human he still had feline instincts. I say felines, but it's mostly cats and not another, because even though he could become anything, he settled with the boring cat form. Maybe because it was the first thing he ever became, but still. Then they did a grip strength one. Katsuki won, even though it wasn't a competition. That much was obvious. Then a flexibility test. Izuku won. Then a rope climbing one. Cat won. Then she told them to go against each other. Still no quirks. And they did. It was sloppy and wild, and neither of them got hurt, because as they were about to do something that would hurt the other, they felt an invisible force separating them. It was a draw. After everything, she told them what they would focus on, and that they should go back every Tuesday and Thursday. And thus began their journey to become fit. Izuku hated it. He just wanted to sleep. Dash. Izuku didn't want to make his mom worry, but well, he was a jellicle cat, and jellicle cats meet when the moon is high. As he was walking to their spot, he saw the good dressed in black man slumped over by a wall. There was a strong smell in the air, a smell of blood. He rushed where the man was, and yeah, he was bleeding out. He started panicking. Should he turn back? The clothing problem had been solved for a while thanks to his mom scaring the shit out of a certain brand he liked, so he wouldn't be a naked child in an alley, but he would still be a child in an alley in the middle of the night next to a bleeding man. The man noticed him and smiled weakly. "Hey little one," he coughed, "don't mind me. This is nothing." It definitely looked like something. He got closer to the man and he petted him right behind his ear. Ah, he loved that spot. "Goddammit Zashi, where are you?" he breathed out. It really looked bad. He should turn right. The man somehow noticed his distress. "Don't worry little one. My friend is on his way." Oh, if that was the case, then he should be fine, right? Yeah, he should be fine. It's not that he didn't trust the nice man to turn in front of him. It's just. No, yeah, he did not trust him. Even hurt, he could be a kidnapper. So he stayed next to him until his friend came, and once he did, he was loud. Kami, they were alerting every criminal out there of their location. Sho. Nuuhr. He did first aid on the now named Sho, and then noticed the cat slowly retreating away. Izuku wasn't going to stay near Loud. "No sir. Don't worry little one. Zashi would never hurt you." He wanted to argue that there is no reason for him to trust anything he is saying besides that one time he fed Big Tanto Brutus, but only a Miwa came out. Or. He stayed with me until you got here. So cute. So. Fine. Come here little kitten. He doesn't know why he did, but after he went, he was picked up by the loud blonde. He jumped on his hair, as he always did with Kaken. Next up, the blonde helped the show up and they walked away. After they got inside a car, Izuku noticed that, wait. Why am I going with them? But he couldn't escape while being in the car, and the whole way he was receiving ear scratches, which really made all his sense of logical thinking be thrown out the window. Once the car stopped and the door was opened, he yeeted himself out of there. Sho and the Loud yelled for him to come back, but he noped, and once no one could see, he became a bird. There was just one problem that he did not take into account. He had no clue where he was. Dash. It was already morning and Izuku was not home yet. Anko liked to think she was calm, a good mother and most of all logical. Well, she was absolutely none of those things, as she called Mitsuki questioning if he was with Katsuki and just forgot to tell her. But he wasn't. In 1 hour everyone she knew was informed that Izuku was missing and to be on the lookout for the kid or a green animal. There were some iguanas found but none were Izuku. When midday came and he still hadn't showed up, she went for the police station. It hadn't been 48 hours but she did not care. That was her baby boy, and she'd be damned if a time restriction kept her from finding him. They filed a missing person report mainly because she threatened them, but nothing was found. It was night again and not a single clue. Katsuki was panicking, and the whole neighborhood grabbed their flashlights and went on the streets yelling for his name like a lost pet, and yet, he wasn't found. He was scared and hungry. He tried turning back human to ask for help but he couldn't, he was way too panicked for that. There were no landmarks he could tell, no point of references he knew. He was completely lost. He tried going back to the cat's meeting spot but he also had no idea where that was. He tried asking for any animal that would hear him for help, but they had no idea what he was talking about. The night was cold to make things worse, and the air smelled like blood. He wanted to go back. He wanted his mom. He wanted anyone. He curled in himself whimpering, and it was the most heartbreaking thing Toya had ever heard. "Hey kitten, are you hungry?" More cries. He'd take that as a yes. He couldn't just buy cat food. He could barely buy food for himself. But still, he offered the kitten a piece of the sandwich he was eating. The kitten ate, trusting him immediately. He picked the kitten up, who didn't even fight, and noticed it was quick to sleep on him. Kami. He couldn't just leave it alone. He had no idea where he was, but it was warm. He woke up in his human form next to some random scarred guy. He yelped away, making the guy move. Where what? Da fuck? Toya squinted his eyes. Da fuck? Why you do you have more food? Da fuck? Toya had no idea why there was a kid there, and honestly he wasn't sure he wanted to know. He looked around looking for the kitten and realization hit him. You are the kitten, aren't you? Sorry. Kami kid, are you homeless? What were you doing out there? I got lost. A man tried to take me home with him and I panicked so I ran away, but I didn't know where I was and Kami, I ended up being taken anyway. Gee, calm down. Okay, he looked at the kid, and then he heard a grumble coming from his belly. I will make us food. Oh okay. He couldn't believe this. He didn't want a kid. He didn't even want a cat. Just why? You do one good thing and then suddenly the universe shoves you in a hole. And you can't get out, because you know this is karma. Do you have a home? He asked while making them breakfast. Izuku sat on the couch. He was visibly uncomfortable. Why yes, mom must be worried sick, and Kami Kaken is gonna kill me. Here he gave him a plate with food, and sat next to him on the gray couch. Once upon a time it was white. What's your name, Squirt? He shouldn't say. Mom always said you couldn't give your name to strangers. Well, it probably couldn't get any worse. Izuku Midoriya. 8. What about you? Shit, he can't just give him his name. Names. Dabby. Really? You don't have to ask like that. I had a time limit. You don't believe me, Greenie? No. Ouch. Where are we? I mean what district? Hosu. That's so far away. How even? Where are you from, kid? Mustafu. Wow, that really is far. I don't really know how to go back. Dabby looked up as if asking the heavens why. I can take you back, just give me an address. Why are you helping me? I'm asking that myself. They had been walking for a while. He was getting tired, so he did the logical thing. Can I sleep in your coat? He asked Dabby. The man in question looked at him like he was insane. Well, perhaps he was, because he said yes, and suddenly there was a snake climbing him up, then a hamster in his pocket. He never wants to be climbed by a snake ever again. It took a few hours to get to the address Izuku gave him. He knocked on the little apartment's door, but no one answered. Hey kid, wake up, he shook his pocket. We are here. The little hamster climbed his hair, then turned into a cat, then jumped to the ground and turned human. Mom. He yelled. Silence. Well kid, Do you have a way to go inside or? He started crying. Yeah, he'd take that as a number. Calm down. Don't worry him there. He patted him. Next thing he knew the kid was hugging him. He isn't paid enough for this. Actually he isn't being paid at all. Should he ask for payment? Probably. He needed money. Kaken. I need to go there. He will know where she is. Okay. He started walking to this Kaken house with the kid. He had no idea why he hadn't left yet. Well, he knew. He just didn't want to admit he wanted to make sure the kid was okay. Upon getting there the kid knocked and a loud comment came from inside. It was like all the breath he was holding in left his body. A blonde woman opened the door and without a second thought she hugged Izuku. We were so worried, brat, where were you? I got lost. He sniffed and held her as if he'd die if he let go. Where is mom? She had to work. Oh. Of course she mobilized everyone to look for you beforehand. She noticed Dabby just standing there not knowing how to exist. Who are you? Sup? He helped me. Oh. Then thank before she could end the phrase a yellow blur appeared. Zuko, where the fuck were you, loser? What a healthy friendship. Kaken. He transformed into a cat midair, settling on the blonde's hair. The blonde seemed satisfied because he simply walked back inside talking non-stop about how worried sick he was, and that next time he'd even dared do anything like this again he'd kill him. Well. I'll be going then. Nonsense. Stay for lunch. She could tell he needed real food in his system. Since you insist, she didn't. Anko showed up 10 minutes later. It was a teary reunion. Dabby felt like he was intruding, but also, free food. So fuck it. As they ate, it soon became an interrogation. Not only they wanted to know everything that happened to Izuku, but they also wanted to know everything about him. He doesn't know why, but it was hard to lie to them. What's your name, sweetie? Why was she calling him sweetie? He was 20 for Kami's sake. Dabby. Just that? Why did no one believe him? Yup. Those look like they hurt. Not really, they did when it happened, but not anymore. How did they happen? My body can't handle my quirk, he shrugged. Oh no. Don't worry, I'll help you, Izuku said. Thanks, but no need, it's fine. I can't feel pain anymore. I don't care, he looked determined. He would give him that. He had no idea how he'd plan on helping him, but oh well, as long as it didn't make things worse. Fine. His smile was blinding. After a while Anko and Izuku went back home and Dabby went back to his, but after a lot of insisting left his phone number. Why they wanted it was beyond him, but still. A few days later Izuku got his own phone which had exactly 6 numbers. Dabby was one of them. Anko didn't like the idea of giving him a phone at a young age, but it was necessary given that he was way too irresponsible. She had a special phone case made from the same material as his clothes so that it would stay with him after he changed forms. But either way, he was grounded from staying out late anyway. A little bit unfair in his honest opinion. But oh well. As long as he doesn't get caught. I very much hope you enjoyed the story and I will see you again next time. As stated previously, the author is in the description. And as the meme gods always say, be gay and do crime. Storyteller signing off.